Everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Go Beyond Sports with some people in sports, me, Sonali Gupta, and a very, very interesting guest today on our show. We have Kalyani Potekar with us today, who is an Indian professional motorcyclist, and she comes from the central part of India, Madhya Pradesh. She has been riding motorbikes since 2010. She's a certified mountaineer, an alpine skier, and also a paraglider. Her achievements include being the fastest female motorcycle racer in India in the 600 and the 1000cc categories for the years 2018, 19, and also 2021. She's represented India at the FIM Asia Cup of road racing in Thailand and Taiwan and finished third place in 2017. And I'm going to jump straight into this very first favorite question of mine. Why did you choose sports as something that you wanted to take forward? And then what made you choose biking as a sport?
So I never chose it. I think sports chose me. Because while I was growing up, I was very actively participating in not just regular sports which goes on in school, but also my parents exposed me to adventure sports at a very early age.
Does this support you taking your sport further? Or does it somewhere also then become a limitation for you to not be able to pursue so much because you're probably bound by certain rules and regulations of your title?
I don't think it ever happened that it limited me from getting out and practicing my sport. But I always had that support from my parents, also from my grandparents.
You were fond of horse riding and of your mountaineering and skiing. How and when did you make the switch to motorcycling then?
Okay, so my dad was into motocross racing, and he used to take me to racetrack. So I remember I was 3 months old when he took me to the racetrack for the first time, and after that, whenever he was racing, I was there. I was watching his races. So I think somewhere that interest developed at a very young age.
Being this young girl, and it's especially in a country like ours, somehow we keep coming back to this question of how easy or then how difficult really it was for you to come into a sport like motorcycling, being a girl. What kind of challenges did you have to face, or how did it then probably make it easy for you to get into?
If I talk about learning the motorcycle, yes, my dad was there and he taught me at a very early age. So I know how to ride a motorcycle. But when I got my own motorcycle and I used to go to college, definitely there was a different scenario out there. People were not so used to seeing a girl riding a motorcycle. And yeah, there were comments from the society, from the people. There were, boys coming and raving next to you and, telling you, yeah, मतलब संभलती नहीं है तो चलाती क्यों, and like a lot of comments were there.
Right.
So when I started this at that time particularly, there were a lot of challenges. People were not so used to see more, women riders, but now like as everything has developed and there are a lot of female bikers, so things are changed. People are accepting
How
it.
did you train yourself for the races? Like, mentally, yes, you had to do a lot of mental chatter, talk to yourself and all. How did you physically train yourself for the races?
So about the physical fitness, I prefer a combination of workout. I don't actually prefer going to the gym and working out in the AC and that kind of stuff.
If you have to say the 3 most important lessons that you have learned from motor racing as a sport, what would they be for you? And tell me, are there any technical aspects of the sport as a motorsport racing that you had difficulties in mastering yourself, or that are usually difficult for most people to master? Do you think female riders, of course, should join the sport for all of us out there. The more women we have, the more participation we have, and the more exposure to sports we have. But do you think it is required for more women to sort of join the sport to make it more gender neutral? In a very small brief, if you can probably just tell most women who probably are interested in biking and racing but do not know where to start and how to start. Do you think you can just touch that a little bit for them as to how they can get started with into biking?
Right.
Kalyani, I'm going to ask you a few fun questions. You really have to tell me, what do you prefer, horse riding or bike riding?
Bike riding.
What do you think is more challenging? The motorsport, alpinism, skiing, paragliding?